Hey folks, the video you're about to see is pretty heartbreaking.
Austria is
Hey folks, the video you're about to see is pretty heartbreaking. The guy's not getting paid for this. He's literally having to throw his milk away. And this is purely because Muller, that's the dairy company that make yogurt and milk, etc., aren't picking up. They're not picking up the phone, they're not picking up the milk. They're not paying him. It's absolutely disgusting. So take a look and hopefully you boycott Muller for a while. This is just sickening. Anyway, enjoy and please share the hell out of this.
Welcome to another day with Muller Dairies. No answer. No correspondence. Don't ring. Don't email. We just have to tip the milk. And there's not a damn thing we can do. I mean, it's just a joke. It honestly is. You know, what is the point? 29 years of milking cows to see this. Never in 29 years have ever had this. Ever. You know, there ain't words. There's just not words to describe this. Honestly. There is... You know, we can't give it away. You know, we're losing thousands a day, a week. They're setting on 2 weeks now. Nothing from Muller. And where does it end? Watching 29 years of work literally go down the drain. Like I say, Connor even gave it away. Hey, there's my letter. They'll prosecute me if I give it away. Damned if we do, damned if we don't. I can't put into words. Can't put it into words anymore.
Don't return here because you've got no need to be here.
And what happens if I do return it?
Causes people upset.
What happens if I do
You
return
end
it?
up committing an offence, won't you? Of harassment. Harassment.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Go on.
Because you're harassing these
Please,
people here.
please, take me in.
I don't need to take you in.
Please. Do you know why?
I'm asking you
Because I'll
nicely,
get more
please
money.
leave. Okay.
I'll get another civil claim.
Okay.
And I'll get more money. You can't do that, yeah? You have to operate within the law.
Okay.
Okay? So take my advice before you get a complaint against you. Okay. Car, out of here.
You need to leave this area then. You're not entitled to be here. You don't need to be here.
Okay, please, tell me the section and the grounds.
This
yeah?
is private property.
Go, no, you tell me the section and the grounds that I need to leave here.
There is no section. There is
There
no
is no-
grounds.
exactly.
I'm giving you words of advice.
I don't need to
because
listen
you
to your
don't
word
need
of
to be
advice.
here.
You're not listening to my words
Why
of
have you been
advice.
here causing a nuisance to these people
You're
that are
not-
trying to work and look after people in this building?
Listen, why don't you go out and catch criminals? You've come to a trespassing matter.
Yes.
Trespassing is a civil matter. At this precise moment, you are bordering on the line of section 26. Yeah, very bordering along the line of this. This is why I've tried to give you advice. Yeah? Now, please, adhere to this advice.
Okay, can I just
Yeah?
ask then, what are your intentions of being here? Why
None of your
here?
business. How about that for you?
Okay.
Yeah? Quickly, yeah? Catch criminals and go. Yeah? Stop trying to solicitate a trespass.
Okay.
You do not want to find yourself with the IOPC, do you?
No.
Exactly.
No, of course not.
Yeah? None of us do. So you have a good day.
Okay.
Enjoy the rest of the sunny weather. And I shall see you both next time. So there you go, guys. That is the best way to deal with Essex Police.
I want you to forget. Forget your flag. Forget your history. Forget your pride. But tomorrow is St. George's Day, and that is something you do not forget. Because that red cross on white isn't decoration. It's defiance. It's sacrifice. It's English blood, spilled across centuries so you could stand free. St. George was no soft saint. He was a soldier. A man who faced torture and death and stood his ground. That's why we chose him. because the English never bowed. Not to emperors, not to tyrants, not to armies twice their size. That cross flew at Agincourt. It marched through the mud of the Somme. It rose over the beaches of Normandy. And when the skies turned black in the Blitz, it waved through the smoke. So tomorrow, when you see that flag, remember, you come from warriors, builders, fighters, people who shaped the world and never asked permission. This is not just a day, it's a reminder of who you are and what you carry. You are English. Stand tall, fly the flag, and never, never forget it.
I know it's controversial. It gets so many people angry, and I have no idea why. Why the fuck did it take a Supreme Court ruling from a bunch of judges to tell us that there are two genders? And to the trans people out there who follow me, some of them may be trans, I don't know. You know, do it in the privacy of your own home. I don't give a shit. But don't you dare try and force it on us. And women are the ones who suffer the most. I do not want trans men to go into women's toilets. Women don't want that, and we don't want that. It's a disgrace. And the people who do it, shame on you. Shame on you. There's now been a court case, and now they're going to dispute the court case, for Christ's sake. Oh, I don't know what's going on in the world today. I know I'm an old codger, and I know some of the comments you make on my... most of them go into my review section now, and a couple of them in the last few days have been really quite vile, quite unnecessarily vile. Luckily, I'm still smiling because I don't give a shit. You've got usually no followers, usually don't have a name, and virtually none of them have pictures, okay? They're hiding the anonymity. Okay. Anyway, well, you've got to stand up for your rights. Okay, it's very important. We all support you. The majority of us do support you, by the way. Now, Donald Trump is making an absolute bloody pig's ass of what's going on in America. The pound, 130 odd. I haven't seen that for years. I've never known it so. The dollar that's weak is not the pound that's strong, if you know what I'm saying. Okay? Because he's tearing everything aside. He's making an absolute fucking mockery. The independence of central banks is crucial to bringing down inflation. Well, you wouldn't know that in the UK because the Bank of England are fucking useless. They've never got it down to the 2% they're supposed to have done it. But that's beside the point. This is following on after Donald Trump threatened to sack the chairman of the US Federal Reserve because he doesn't agree with him. And anybody who doesn't agree with him, sack him. He's a bit like Henry VIII. Off with his head. But that was a few hundred years ago. This man's and I know that Michael Fox is probably going to, unfollow me for saying this, but he's lost it, hasn't he? I mean, he's got to calm the fuck down. He's just got to stop this because he's going to fuck up the American economy. And the Chinese are powerful. They're clever, and the memes coming out of there are funny. I'm sorry, I discovered some are just bloody brilliant. And I think the American consumers are going to be the losers in this case. Have you seen the figures for tourism into the United States, which is a big money spent, by the way? And of course, Canadians are refusing to go. One of the biggest tourist people coming right across the border, and now they're going, well, fuck this, the way they've treated us, we're not going anymore. And it's hurting. It's starting to hurt in America. And the industry, particularly that relies on tourism, such as in other places, are suffering. Some good deals up there at the moment. And if you're British, of course, going to America with a pound at 130 odd, Jesus, never been better. Don't forget, if you do though, make fully Esther in, make sure it's clearly marked, and be very honest. Okay, don't try and pull the wool over the TSA's eyes because they've got you on databases. And Donald Trump, leave the central bank, okay? Let them do their job. That's what you paid them for in the first place. And they're supposedly professional. I don't know about our Bank of England because the chairman of that one hasn't got inflation. Don't know, that's another story. The ceasefire in Ukraine was a joke. And of course, Trump's spouted on before the President of the States said, I'm going to have peace in Ukraine within 48 hours. And here we are months later, nowhere near peace, continuing the war. And now we're saying apparently that the Kremlin are delighted that Donald Trump has said that there's no way he'll ever be a member of NATO. Well, I'll tell you what, quite frankly, at this point in time, NATO might be off without America. NATO has to get their act together without American help. Can we rely on America to help us anymore? I don't know. Would you? Because of some of the things that Donald Trump and his senior members have been saying about Europeans. It's quite extraordinary. I know I'm smoking because of lovely teeth now. But anyway, I just worry about him, and some of the things he's been saying have been really quite silly. And America, I think, are going to be in for a very tough time. Okay, but Kremlin satisfied with Europe proposal to ban Ukraine from NATO. It's in a headline of the papers. And now, of course, you've got universities in America. Harvard University becomes resistance HQ in Trump's war on woke campuses. I agree with Trump regarding those campuses. They are terrible. Does anybody else here right across the world? One of the things, how I feel about the BBC, it should be banned tomorrow. Or not banned, but take away their license fee. It's a mandatory tax for everybody who watches bloody BBC or streaming. And it's like £16 odd a month. It's ridiculous because they're so fucking woke and nervous they suck. They have one program I like and I watch regularly without fail, and it's University Challenge. And Cambridge University this year, so I'm asked, by the way, not because I actually went to Cambridge and got a first in maths. Wish I had been clever and do that. I probably could have done it, but I didn't have the money or the wherewithal, and I wanted to be a pilot. But these young men and women in these finals, Jesus, they are so smart, and it gives me hope for the future. Incredible. And I watched last night the semi-finals, and Cambridge University, they really won brilliantly against Bristol, who won the finalists, and they were brilliant, but against this university, Cambridge, and there's one guy there, he's like the bloody thesaurus. He's incredible. The encyclopedia goes, 1722 or something. He's brilliant. The whole team were brilliant, by the way. Well done to University Challenge. Well done to the BBC for putting on some, after all these years, one of the few programmes that I watch and thoroughly enjoy. I watched a movie last night. I don't know why I did it. I should have stuck pins in my eyes. It was a movie starring Sylvester Stallone about a robbery on a bridge. Well, it was absolutely fucking terrible. God almighty, thank God for the fast forward. What a load of the shit they're churning out for Hollywood now. It's unbelievable. You think how good they were. And anyway, Mobland, I'm thoroughly enjoying, although the accents from a couple of them actually. Sure what accent he's using. And the female lead, I can't remember her name, but it's the British equivalent. Her accent's really weird as well. She's a real bitch in it. Good show though, Mobland. And Tom Hardy. So I just wasn't.
Arrogant are you to think that you deserve to go through life with no one ever saying anything that you don't agree with or like?
This is 5 times Ricky Gervais silenced the room with nothing but the truth. Number 5. Just grow a pair of balls and have a laugh about it.
People try and give ideas rights.
Yeah.
You know, they jump in the way of the bullet and say, why are you shooting at me?
Yeah.
Right? If someone insults maths, I don't go, oh, dare you insult maths.
Yeah.
Insult it all you like.
Yeah.
It works.
Yeah,
okay?
exactly.
If you're so fragile that you think that a joke about someone can destroy it, well, you need something else then.
Yeah.
It's nonsense. You don't have to pave the jungle.
Yeah.
You can just grow a pair and have a laugh about it.
Number 4. Some stories just don't add up.
There could be 5 million species of animal on the Earth. Best guess, right? Minimum, scientists say. There's so many we can't... But 5 million. And that's 1% of all animal species that have ever existed. 99% of all animal species that ever existed are extinct. And that remaining 1% is 5 million strong. Take one of those species, termites. If you were to weigh every termite alive now, it would be 10 times the tonnage of every human being on Earth. And it's statistics like that that make me think that this book isn't totally accurate.
Number 3. Everybody is atheist.
So you're not convicted of your atheism?
Well, I am.
Sure.
No, I am, because atheism is only rejecting the claim that there is a God. Atheism isn't... This is atheism in a nutshell. You say, there's a God. I say, can you prove that? You say no. I say, I don't believe you then. So, you believe in one God, I assume?
In 3 persons, but go ahead.
Okay, but there are about 3,000 to choose from that have been, you know, people who believe in
I've done some reading, yeah.
So basically, you deny one less God than I do. You don't believe in 2,999 gods, and I don't believe in just one more.
Right.
Number 2. Just because you're offended, it doesn't mean you're right.
That's the thing about offence, isn't it? When people say they're offended, it's that just because you're offended, you're right. Offence is about feelings, and feelings are personal. Some people are offended by comedy. You know, so you can't second-guess people. If you try and please everyone, you please no one. With comedy, I think you've got to deal with taboos and contentious. Sometimes you deal in irony, and some people don't get that. But, you know, you can't let it against you, otherwise you'll be doing nothing.
Number 1. Our personal favourite. People in Hollywood acting like they didn't see a thing.
Our next presenter starred in Netflix's Bird Box.
The UK government is planning to block out the sun. This isn't a joke. I'd appreciate if you share this because we didn't vote for this and I feel like a demonstration needs to definitely take place. Experiments to dim the sun in bid to curb global warming will be approved by the UK government within weeks. Take a look at your fucking window and see how much sun we actually do need, because right now it is grey and I'm wearing this. It is freezing. Let's have a look. So experiments to reflect sunlight away from the Earth will be given the green light by the government within weeks, the Telegraph reports. Outdoor trials could include injecting aerosols into the atmosphere or brightening clouds to reflect sunshine. Doesn't that sound safe for everyone? The government's Advanced Research and Invention Agency has set aside $50 million for projects which will be announced in the coming weeks. That's your money. Professor Mark Symes, Programme Director for IRA, said that there will be a small controlled outdoor experiments on particular approaches. Just don't do it. We have strong requirements about the length of time experiments can run and their reversibility, and we won't be funding the release of any toxic substances to the environment, he said. Yeah, because that's always trustworthy when you're trying to block out the fucking sun. Let's see what else it says. which is called solar geoengineering, refers to a set of proposed technologies designed to reduce global warming by reflecting a portion of incoming sunlight back into space. While scientists agree there is a need to quickly and dramatically cut carbon dioxide emissions, there isn't. The dinosaurs got along with it perfectly fine. I'm sure we'll be okay. There were also concerns about the possible risks of geoengineering. Critics have voiced worries that geoengineering endeavours could backfire and even make climate change worse by triggering destructive weather patterns. They'll do anything except plant trees for photosynthesis. In fact, they have done, is it G7? They're doing their meeting in Brazil, you know, the people that discuss what we do with global warming. Well, you know what they did? They built a road to get to the place where they're going to go.
100 years ago, you didn't have to ask the government permission to build a house, to renovate your house, to grow your own food, to sell your own food, to go fishing. You didn't need permission to hunt. You didn't need a driving license. You didn't need permission to protest. You wasn't caught on camera 300 times a day. You didn't have to prove your identity just to have a beer. You wasn't sending your kids to school to learn the same brainwashed curriculum. You wasn't fined if you took your kid out of school for a holiday. You could discipline your children without it being called child abuse. Our so-called freedom is slowly being removed. All this civil unrest and rioting, it's all part of the plan. The true tyrants of this world don't care what you believe as long as you believe in something. As long as you're not paying attention to what they're doing. They want us at each other's throats. They want us to kill each other. They want us submissive and docile and without a voice. But please don't let the bastards win. Look at your enemy and say, my birthplace is Earth, my race is human, my political view is peace, and my religion is love. And if their answer is the same as yours, then they're not your enemy, they're your friend. We need unity now more than ever. Thanks for watching, guys. Peace and love to everyone. Have a good. We'll never forget the time that Morgan Freeman absolutely destroyed racism in under a minute and left the interviewer, Mike Wallace, speechless. Have a listen to this.
History Month you find
ridiculous. Why? You're going to relegate my history to a month?
Oh, come on.
What do you do with yours? Which month is White History Month? No, well, come on, tell me.
Well, I'm Jewish.
Okay, which month is Jewish History Month?
There isn't one.
Oh, why not?
Yeah.
Do you want one?
No.
I don't either. I don't want a Black History Month. Black history is American history.
How are we going to get rid of racism?
Stop talking about it. I'm going to stop calling you a white man.
Yeah.
And I'm going to ask you to stop calling me a black man. I know you as Mike Wallace. You know me as Morgan Freeman. You understand what I know this white guy named Mike Wallace. You know what I'm saying?
Wow, smart man. Just stop talking about it. It should be that easy, and it could be. But unfortunately for some people, they need racism. It's so ingrained in them, they don't know how to be anything else. They use it as an excuse so when they fail, they have something to blame, so they don't have any accountability or repercussions. You know, if they don't work hard enough or something doesn't go to plan, they can just throw their toys out the pram, screaming it's the white man's fault. The truth is, there isn't a single law or a right that applies to white people that doesn't apply to any other race in the same land, and there hasn't been for a very, very long time. So if you're not doing as well as what you could have, stop blaming everybody else, because ultimately, only you are responsible for you.
I fucking knew it. I fucking knew this was going to happen. The UK's Defence Minister has just clarified that if we send troops, coalition of the willing troops, to Ukraine, that they will not be acting as traditional peacekeepers. They will not be a peacekeeping force. And according to reports, up to 15 countries have agreed to contribute troops to a reassurance force, which the Defence Minister said that these units and troops should not be described as peacekeepers. So, what the fuck are they then? The Defence Minister goes on to say that troops deployed to Ukraine to monitor a potential ceasefire as part of the coalition of the willing will not act as traditional peacekeepers, but as a support to Ukraine's own forces. Now, if you've been following me for some time, you know that I have been barking on about this for quite some time now. And if we send troops to Ukraine, we send boots on the ground to Ukraine, there is a very high possibility that national service conscription will be right around the corner. And if people think it will just be 18 to 24-year-old males, you better snap out of that idea, because you could be in for a very sharp surprise. There's absolutely no wonder Prime Minister Rodney has been rolling out the fucking red carpet. For fuck's sake.